And if we don't get out and vote, then you can't choose your leadership. And then your leadership ends up choosing you. And we realize what's happening in this country right now. You got a president and a vice president and a whole lot of Republicans that want to take a power grab and take away all the authority from all other groups but themselves, which means that's now a dictatorship. They're trying to create a dictatorship. This country no longer has differing opinions, because if you have a different opinion from the Republicans, then you are anti-American, and that's the narrative that they're putting out there. And unfortunately, if we continue down this road, we'll find that this country will become what Germany used to be. And Germany was a democracy before Hitler got there. And then once Hitler got there, he turned the media, he controlled the media, he controlled the narrative, and he created this urgency by creating false narratives around what is happening. And we see that's happening right now. That kid that got shot, Charlie Kirk. Look, I haven't heard any Democratic elected officials say anything bad about Charlie Kirk, but the Republicans continue to say the Democrats. This is leftist Democratic rhetoric that killed this guy. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was a Republican who killed another Republican, and that's just what it is. But when they control the media, then they control the minds, and then this is where we are today. And so the Republicans in Texas, as we talk about redistricting, Donald Trump decided that he needs to pick up more seats so that he can have more control over Congress and the Senate, because the midterms are coming up. And generally what happens during the midterm is you have a changing of the guard. People have seen what you've done for the last couple of years as a president, and now it's time they can say, well, we probably need a change. And you'll find that Republicans, will lose the House, and then the Democrats come in, and then it happened during the Democratic time. Democrats lost the House and gave it to the Republicans. Well, Republicans said they don't ever want to lose it again. And so what they have decided to do is redistrict. And they decided in Texas is easy, because Texas is a bunch of weak, spineless Republican leaders that have controlled this state for 30 years. More than 30 years, Republicans have controlled this state. But they figure we need more control. And so they wanted to get 5 more congressional seats. And so they went in and drew these new maps to pick up more representation for them. And they did it. And the Democrats did as best job as they could by breaking quorum. I think at first they wasn't going to break quorum. We broke quorum when I was in the House in 21. We broke quorum because we were trying to protect voting rights. And we got national attention for that, and we got some things moving. And then this time around, the Democrats did the same thing. They broke quorum, got national attention, even moved California to say if Trump is going to try to continue to redistrict all over the country, then Democratic states are going to start redistricting to pick up more seats for Democrats. Unfortunately, that's fair. I mean, I've always said if Republicans can't cheat, they ain't winning. They got to cheat to win. That's what they have to do. And so Governor Abbott set out to create 5 more seats, and they did that. And they set their sights on Black representation in this state. We have 4 Democratic Black representatives in this state, Congresspeople. He attacked 3 of those. He took Al Green's seat out, the 9th. He removed the 9th and moved it all the way to the east and made it into a Republican district. Drew the 18th into what Congressman Al Green's district used to be. So now essentially the 9th becomes the 18th. And if you look at the map, it's all of Al Green's district down south, Missouri County, Fort Bend County, Missouri City, Sugar Land, Sunnyside, and then it goes up into South Park, 3rd Ward, and then curves around and goes up to 5th Ward, and then goes up Northeast Houston. And that's a pretty expansive district. It literally, I always kind of joke about it. It kind of goes from Cleveland to Victoria, all up, up and down 59. It's a really bad district that they drew. And so then you look at Jasmine Crockett's district out of Dallas, and they redrew the lines. And so the district that she lives in, they drew her out. Now, does that mean she can't run again? No, it doesn't mean she can't run. But they set out to try to steal representation from us so that it silences the voice, and then we don't have representation. And then you look at District 29, which was Sylvia Garcia's, which was to the east. And they made all of her district now the 9th district. And so now the new 29th district is everything north of 610. So if you go up 59, if you go up 45, and if you come around to 290, it's everything north of that. And so the districts have changed a lot. We got a lot of people confused. People that used to vote in the 18th are confused because there's a special election coming up in November, and people are like, well, what am I voting for that or not? And yes, people are voting in the special in November for the 18th. You live currently in the 18th.
I live in the 18th.
But but in March, they drew Acres Homes out of the 18th, and now Acres Homes is in the 29th. So I won't be voting in the 18th. I'll be voting in the 29th. And so, and that's why it's so very important that we have these type of forums to educate people so that people do understand it. And it's still so very hard to understand. And I think a lot of that confusion is done purposely so that people continue to be confused, and people continue to not understand what's going on. And I think it's important that when we look at now what's happening with redistricting, the Democratic Party has a tall task. It has to really embrace its base. And the base of the Democratic Party is the Black vote. Period, no ifs, ands, buts about it. 87% of the Black folk that vote are going to vote Democrat. And yet, Democrats don't talk to the issues that are important to the Black community. And so therefore, you'll find more and more Black people are starting to stay home. And we're reversing this and going back in time to where we're not like, ain't nobody talking to me, so I'm not gonna vote. And I always say, when you get your yearbook, when you was in school, and you got your last year, a couple of years ago, I know you, but you remember when you got your yearbook, what's the first thing you do when you get your yearbook for high school? What's the first thing you do? Look for what? You look for yourself. You look for yourself. You look for your picture. Well, when we open up the Democratic book, we don't see our picture.
Oh.
And therefore, we're not interested. Because it's no longer, why you're not talking to me. And everybody says, well, you need to get out and vote. And we're like, well, what are we voting for? I'm voting for what? Yes, I do understand I need representation. Yes, I do understand that we have, and I'm not saying that I'm not giving an excuse to anybody. I am saying that we all should vote, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure that people are able to vote for the things that are relevant and important to that community. We have talked about so many other issues that ain't important to the base of the Black community that we have, we've just continued to overlook the relevance and the importance of the Black community. And then when we lose elections, they always want to point out, well, the Black community didn't come out and vote. What? The Black community did come out and vote. But you can't be so dogmatic and say the Black community is wrong when you look at everybody, nobody else, they're fleeing the Democratic Party because we don't have a message. And so we have to get this message down so that we can get the voters back to the polls. And when you look at what's going to happen, the Latinos in the presidential election in 2024, a lot of Latinos went Republican. They went Republican for one reason or another, they used a whole lot of, they were against abortion, so therefore they didn't want to vote Democrat. They're never going to admit the fact that they just didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris, but the Republicans saw this new phenomenon, and they are going to continue to push that they want Latinos to continue to vote for them.
Yeah.
And I talk to a lot of people, and they always say, man, Latinos ain't gonna vote for Republicans because Trump sending in ICE and he picking up all. And I'm saying, let me tell you something. Pay attention to the most important thing, pay attention to their unemployment numbers. Unemployment in the Black community is up 30% since Donald Trump took office. We're around 7.6%. Now, when Biden left, it was somewhere around 4.5. Now it's up to 7. The Latino unemployment numbers are down. Theirs was around 4.2. Now it's at 4%. So their unemployment, so they're getting work. And so the Republicans are going to tout that. They're going to be going into the Latino community and saying, we got you work. You getting your jobs. You putting food on your table. So you need to come vote for us because the Democrats ain't going to do nothing for you. And I believe that the Latinos will start to continue to leak over to the Republican side. And so that means we got to be very careful when it comes to, we got to continue to try to build these coalitions. Because, I remember the days of Mickey Leland and, everybody likes to talk about Mickey Leland and Ben Reyes, how they were, it was a black, brown, and it was there. And we loved it. Unfortunately, it hasn't stayed that same. And so here we are today. And so I think it's so very important if we're going to be looking at this redistricting and how the Republicans continue to gerrymander our communities. It is very consequential, and it is of urgency that we go to the polls and vote. Republicans said in 2020, Donald Trump said they stole the election from him. Stole the election. And what did the Republicans do? They went to the nation's capital and tried to tear it literally down, all behind a lie. We got to have that same urgency. I'm not saying go tear anything down. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we got to have that same urgency that we have to get to these polls. Because if we don't, we will find ourselves in a dictatorship where Donald Trump and the Republicans will create a dictatorship to where they're going to control everything. They continue to talk about building these coalitions of people coming, but the only coalition that they want to build is that you have to join them. That's not what America is. America is a democracy. You have an opinion, you have an opinion. That's what politics is. It's a conversation, it's negotiation, it's legislation. Conversation, negotiation, legislation. It's not what it is today. What it is that do what I say, and if you don't, then we're going to just run right over you. And this is where we are in this country today. And so we have to have this urgency. But it's important that we have to have an agenda and a plan so we know what we're going and we know what we're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know where you're going, then why are you getting in the car? you oftentimes I can't go nowhere without GPS on my phone. And back in the day when we had maps, you couldn't travel out of the, we gotta have a roadmap. And that means we gotta create an agenda so that we can stop being defensive and start being offensive to get things done. So if y'all want me to keep talking, I will, but if there's some questions, I'll stop. But so we can, however you want to do it, I'll keep going. But Ms. Johnson, anybody? Yeah, keep going. Yeah. So if we're looking at what's our next step? Next steps are the 18th Congressional District does have a special election. That's going to happen November 4th.
Yes.
There are multiple people in that race, a lot of people in that race. I don't know how many have dropped off. I know a significant number have dropped off. But it would be devastating and embarrassing if all the Democrats split up that vote and allow that one Republican to win that seat. And that's only going to be for a temporary time, but it would still send a real bad message. And let me tell you why this potentially can happen. Does anybody know what's on the ballot on November 4th besides the 18th congressional district? Anybody know? So they're going to be, the 18th congressional district is on the ballot. But the governor has placed 14 constitutional amendments on the ballot as well. Those constitutional amendments, the Republicans are pushing hard. And so they're spending a lot of money in their base to get people out to vote. And so the Republican Party are pushing their voters to the polls for November 4th because they want those constitutional amendments. I don't have them in front of me.
We have.
You got the Constitution?
Going to present.
Oh, you're going to read them? You want to do them now, or you going to do it at another time?
Well, they do them now.
I will. I can do them now.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot as well.
Okay. Sorry.
Chief Betty Taylor.
Okay, yeah, for Harris County voters on November the 4th, 2025, the ballot will include 17 proposed amendments to the Texas Constitution, as well as local elections. Now, Proposition number 1, Senate Joint Resolution 59. Now, this amendment would create 2 dedicated state funds to support infrastructure, land acquisitions, and equipment for the Texas State Technical College System, TSTC, seated with an initial $850 million for general revenue. Now, these funds would operate outside the normal state budget and legislative oversight. Proposition.
You know what that means? It's going to operate outside the normal and have no legislative oversight. So that means the money that you're going to get through this road and bridge, they're already going to see $850 million. And let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with this technical college. This technical college, I think, is important. I think more people need to use this technical college because it's vocation. This is where you learn the vocations, and we need more of our young people going to these technical colleges. But it's dangerous when you don't have oversight. You don't have oversight on how that money is used. It's dangerous. So that means our tax dollars are going to this college, but there is no oversight. So if they decide we're only going to be a conservative kind of group, we only want these kind of students, you cannot hold them accountable. So again, technical college, good. Vocational ed, good, but no legislative oversight? That's dangerous. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Next.
Proposition number 2, Senate Joint Resolution 18. This amendment would permanently prohibit the Texas legislature from imposing any tax on capital gains, whether realized or unrealized. Texas currently does not have such a tax. So the measure functions as a safeguard to preserve the state's existing low tax structure. Proposition number 3, this is the—
How many of y'all got capital gains? How many of y'all got capital gains? Anybody got capital gains? Anybody here get some capital gains? Anybody on Social Security get capital gains? Anybody who is retired get capital gains? Anybody get capital gains? And right now it's currently not even being, it's not even a rule. It's not even, we don't even tax that. So why in the world did you find it necessary to say, you went and told all the rich folks who get capital gains, we ain't gonna tax you. We're not even doing that now.
All right.
You're over legislating on this one, but you're also sending a message to your rich friends.
Uh-huh.
You want to come here. We won't come here. But I ain't getting no capital gains. I don't.
Okay.
Proposition 3 is the Senate Joint Resolution 5. Now, this amendment would authorize judges to deny bail to individuals charged with a list of serious felonies, such as murder, aggravated assault, and human trafficking, if the state proves by clear and convincing evidence that release would endanger the public or risk flight. It embeds mandatory bail denial for certain charges into the state constitution with limited discretion for judges.
Does that include rape, groping, 34 count felony?
They're loading it so that you will
Does
go
that
for it,
include all of that?
but no bail.
But no
No,
bail?
no bail. I'm having a problem with this, but let me be glad.
No, please, yeah, this is where
This
we
no
are.
bail situation, because usually they get our folk
Yes.
on these kind of charges, and they don't want them to have any bail. And a lot of times they're not even guilty, but couldn't afford a good lawyer. And so they're using this to get rid of us. Our people, put them in prison, disenfranchise us. So I'm having a problem with that.
And they can add trump up charges on top of it, so you would have to go to court. You know,
What are the charges again?
Okay.
Murder.
but you still have to be proven, or they're saying as long as you.
Charged.
But he wants to
Murder,
hear the
aggravated assault, human trafficking.
Aggravated assault is somebody has a bat, somebody has a knife.
Mhm.
You know, aggravated assault is.
That's us.
And again, I always say, and you got to remember when I say this, I always say, laws apply to everyone. Laws apply to everyone. They're only applicable to some.
That's right. It's not,
So when they make these rules, now I'm not going to be one that's going to be mad at you don't give nobody bail for murder. But as you're pointing out, we know that these laws are they only applicable to some. But you know, and the whole bail system has always been an unfair system, because if you got money, you can get out.
all except Diddy.
They just try to make an example out of, you know, they took our attention away from all the other stuff that they were doing, so they had us all focused on Diddy. But that's what the system is. The system is an unfair system.
But Diddy's black. So.
Of course.
So okay.
You have proposition 4 is the House Joint Resolution 7. Now, this amendment would divert up to $1 billion per year in existing sales tax revenue into a new Texas water fund to support water infrastructure projects. Now, the funding would occur automatically each year, bypassing the normal legislative appropriations process, and would continue until 2035 unless extended by the legislature.
But it bypasses them in getting it set up, but they have the right to extend it after 2035.
Now, this is proposition number 5, House Joint Resolution 99. Now, this amendment would give the Texas legislature the authority to exempt animal feed held for retail sales from local property taxes. It does not require the exemption, but permits future legislation to implement it, potentially correcting a tax inconsistency within the agricultural supply chain.
That's what form is. That's not helping.
Y'all got some
The
deer?
inner city.
Y'all got some deer?
No, no.
This is what form homeless and things.
Proposition 6, House Joint Resolution 4. Now, this amendment would preemptively prohibit the Texas legislature from imposing taxes on securities, transactions, or from creating new occupation taxes on registered financial market operators like brokers and exchanges. It aims to shield investors and financial institutions from future taxation in this space.
All stockbrokers and people who invest in, that's like, again, capital gain stuff. We ain't gonna, this is another way of not taxing the rich.
Proposition 7, House Joint Resolution 133. Now, this amendment allowed the legislature to exempt the homestead of a surviving spouse or a veteran who died from a presumed service-connected condition. The exemption would continue if the spouse remains unmarried and moves to a new qualifying homestead, carrying forward the previous tax relief. Proposition 8, House Joint Resolution 2. Now, this amendment would permanently prohibit the Texas legislature from imposing estate, inheritance, or gift taxes. Texas does not currently levy such taxes. So this measure acts as a safeguard to prevent future reintroduction. Proposition 9. This amendment will allow the legislature to exempt up to $250,000 of the market value of income generating personal property, such as business equipment or tools, for local property taxes. The exemption would ease the tax burden on small businesses and the self-employed. Proposition 10, Senate Joint Resolution 84. This amendment would give the legislature the authority to provide a temporary property tax exemption for homesteads that are entirely destroyed by fire. The exemption would apply only to the value of the destroyed structure, not the land, and would be implemented through future legislation. Proposition 11, Senate Joint Resolution 85. Now, this amendment would authorize the legislature to raise the additional school property tax exemption for elderly and disabled homeowners from $10,000 to $60,000. The increased exemption would reduce school district taxes from qualifying individuals and would be offset by state funds to maintain district funding levels. Proposition 12, Senate Joint Resolution 27. This amendment would expand and restructure the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, SCJC, increasing its membership and public representation, while enhancing its ability to issue public sanctions against judges. It also introduces new powers, including the authority to suspend judges upon indictment for certain crimes.
Now, let me just say this about this. I gotta say this about this. Now, this is solely aimed at Harris County because of the number of Democratic judges, in particular Black women judges in Harris County, that they'll come up with any trumped up charge they can and want to, just to suspend them from the bench. Again, this is another power grab
Which number was that?
on that part.
12. Proposition 12. Okay, Proposition 13, this is the Senate Joint Resolution 2. Now, this amendment would raise the school district property taxes exemption on homestead from 100,000 to 140,000, reducing taxable home values and offering tax relief to homeowners. Now, the state would reimburse school district for the resulting loss in revenue. Proposition 14, Senate Joint Resolution 3. Now, this amendment would create a new state-run medical research institution and permanently dedicate $3 billion for general revenue plus up to $300 million annually for research and infrastructure related to dementia and other diseases. The fund would exist outside the state regular spending cap.
We don't have anything for mental illness, mental health. That epic proportion.
I was listening to that, how they danced around mental health. No money for mental health, but this is research on dementia.
Proposition 15 is the Senate Joint Resolution 34. Now, this amendment would enshrine in the Texas Constitution to inherent rights of parents to care for and make decisions about their children upbringing. It would restrict state or local government interference unless justified by compelling government interest using the least restrictive means.
It's the transgender.
What that is that they're just simply saying parents can be the final decision maker for their children. I'm sorry, I thought that was already in place.
That's already.
I thought that was already in place.
Yeah, because that's
But
already the case.
This is,
Yeah, transgender.
it extends into the schools. So if a teacher, if a daycare center, if a college, if whatever, the parents have the authority. And so it gives the parents the authority to then hold schools. It's like we send children to school to learn, but just because a parent decides, I don't want my child learning that. Okay, well, you need to homeschool them. And this is how the government wants to try to control, because they don't want certain things being taught in class. And this is how, if any teacher disputes the fact that Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Like, you can't discover something that was already there. Like, how do you discover?
Already there.
Then if that child goes home and says, my teacher said Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, they can make a big deal about it. This is petty. This is just, listen, parents already got the final say. We all black parents, we know, boy, but it's your butt. You know what I'm saying?
But it's protecting the narrative.
But it's going into now it goes into school.
Yeah.
We're making these children so. I don't like the
Teachers lose their authority.
The schools can't teach home.
It would restriction non-citizens.
You know what redundancy is? You know what redundancy is?
Yeah.
You know what redundancy is? You know what redundancy, like, this amendment explicitly states that the Texas Constitution, only US citizens vote, while the current law already limits voting to citizens.
So why have it?
Because this is the narrative that they want, because Donald Trump and all the Republicans are pushing that the illegals are stealing the elections. No, they're not. You have to be a citizen to vote, period. But it fits the narrative and it makes them feel good that we like being redundant and saying the same thing over and over, but it makes us look tough and it makes us feel good about ourselves.
Oh, Lord. Oh, this is wonderful.
It's already just wasting time.
Okay, this is the last one. Proposition 17, House Joint Resolution 34. And that this amendment would allow the legislature to exempt from property taxation any increase in value to land in Texas border counties that result from the addition of border security infrastructure. It is a narrow to avoid penalizing landowners for volunteering security.
You live on the border? Any of y'all live on the border?
No.
And you know what happens to property every year? What happens to values of property every year? They go up. My mama bought her house in my mom and my dad, my parents bought their house in 1975 for $22,000. My mama still lives in that same house and is worth now $300,000. It goes up every year. So what this amendment does, it says, because we put a fence on your property, if the value of your property goes up, we're not going to charge you for it. But the value of property goes up all the time. More and more people moving to Texas and values go up. So why are you giving these folks? And you're taking money out of our schools. You take because you built the fence on that.
Yeah. We're so glad you're here. Okay.
That's all of
That was it. That was it.
Each of them, you have to receive a majority of the vote. And I guess my question is there any way that we vote because it's so important?
That's what we're doing right now. But we're gonna have to reach out and tell somebody, everybody in your family.
We have to do that. Again, that's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
We want to continue to push people, but when you're literally, when nothing matters to me, I mean, we went through, there's some of these amendments that are important that we have to vote on. But I mean, when you're talking about the redundancy of some of these, now what? I don't want to vote for that. He wastes my time.
But some of those amendments doesn't apply to me.
None of it applies to me. That's why it's not going to be relevant.
It's not relevant, but yet it gives tax breaks to others that already have tax breaks. And now our schools, public school systems, that many of us cannot afford to send our children to private school, or maybe not want to send them to those voucher schools because they don't have transportation. So some families are totally dependent upon public transportation, schools, those amenities that comes with our public schools. So it's important to every family member. We have to get the word out. We have to talk to our families. We're responsible. That's part of the watch, fight, and pray. And it's things like Black Heritage where we're coming on and we're letting the people know what is on the ballot, why voting is significant. But it takes each and every one of us to make this work.
Each and every one. Because we got to have that same urgency. Because we got to know if you don't realize what's happening right now, you're gonna wake up one day and go, wow. Donald Trump is federalizing police, and he's going into major metropolitan cities that happen to be democratically led, and oftentimes a majority of the population are Black folks. Donald Trump said when he was in DC, and the reason why he sent the police in is because those children, and these are his words, those children are born to be criminals. This is the president of the United States of America. Donald Trump spent $180 billion for border protection. Now, you know where the border is? Where's the border?
And then they painted the wall black.
That's just dumb. Because at night, what is it? It's going to be hot. but you know what a border is? Your border is down south, right?
Yeah.
And up north, right?
Yeah.
No, the border is the entire circumference of the United States. Border Patrol has authority within 100 miles of the border. That means they have authority over 3/4 of America, because 3/4 of America live within 100 miles of the border. And it's California, New York, and South Carolina, North Carolina, that's the circumference. And they're given $180 billion. They're hiring more and more police officers, and you will find that they're going to start having far more prisons built.
Yes.
Because and here's what the Supreme Court has done. The Supreme Court has said that Border Patrol agents have qualified immunity, which means even if they go and pick you up, somebody can say, I heard Ms. Johnson is she ain't no citizen. They go snatch you up, pick you up, throw you, put you in jail. Now, let me give you a real scenario. There may be somebody who may be up for promotion at that job. And the person that they're up against has a friend, cousin, brother that works for Border Patrol.
All right.
Go pick up.
You're gone.
They go throw him in jail for the next 3 days because it's his responsibility, because let me see your birth certificate. You got a birth certificate on you right now?
Of course.
You got anybody got their birth? Now, who walks around with a birth certificate? But they'll ask you for your birth certificate. You can't produce it. They're going to put you in jail. And this is where we are in this country. So we got to have that urgency, because we oftentimes say this tongue in cheek. We often kind of just say it, but I don't think we really mean it. But we are going back to the days of slavery, and we don't even really see it, because there are too many people. There are too many people that think, oh man, I got a great job. Oh man, I got access to I got lawyers. Laws don't apply oftentimes. And I'm telling you, we're moving more and further to being a dictatorship.
You can't even get a driver's license renewal. A driver's license without a birth certificate.
And then if
that's ridiculous.
And if you're past 85, I think that's the age, you have to go in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, and they have to check.
Well, I ain't gonna be the one that I ain't gonna argue against that one now. Look at, because I'm 53 and my eyes change all the time. But in addition to that, the Supreme Court just on September 8th, the Supreme Court said that Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, have the authority to pull you over based on your skin color. Based on your skin color.
Yeah.
If they hear you speaking a foreign language, they have reasonable justification to detain you. Skin
color now.
Now, my question is, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? For the safety of America, is what they say.
Right.
Okay, well, let's just do the math. You can Google it, look it up. How many illegal immigrants have killed American citizens? That number will come back 1,000. That's horrible. That's horrible. 1,000 people out of 13 million immigrants in this country? Okay, that's horrible. 1,000 is too much. Now answer this question: how many white men have killed American citizens in this country? 560,000. So who should we really be pulling over? If you want to talk about safety,
Yeah.
you want to talk about safety. And Donald, if you want to talk about safety, one of the things that Donald Trump has done, I know this stuff is deep and it's crazy and it gets boring sometimes, but you know, there's a thing. You ever heard of white collar crime? Anybody? White collar crime, right? Banking and you know how much white collar crime costs America every year?
Embezzlement.
You know how much?
$1
That number is somewhere between 600 billion and 1.7 trillion.
Yeah.
And you know what Donald Trump did? He told his attorney general, don't investigate white collar crimes no more. $1 trillion. You know what leads to companies going bankrupt? You know what leads to people losing their job? And when people lose their job, they will oftentimes turn to crime. You literally just, and you know who are doing white collar crime?
White. That's why white collar.
90% of all white collar crimes are committed by white people.
You know, you raised an interesting point, and I say this all the time because here we live in the United States, and we're only 14 to 17% of the population. In order for things to turn around, we must unify in order to make it work. But, you know, everybody says about Black, the American, African American people, and I don't want to say religion, but their unity, their ability to love and have compassion and show empathy. But why on other race or ethnicity expected to share or embrace that same thought pattern of prosperity? Because we're only 17% at the moment. You know, in order to make these changes in the legislation to say, hey, the Donald Trumps and all the rest of them, you're wrong for what you're doing. Why aren't other ethnicities held to the same standards or expectations?
Imagery. The number one problem in the Black community is imagery. What do you mean, Jarvis? Imagery. When you think, and when oftentimes police officers who happen to be of other ethnicities don't live near or hang around or have grown up with Black people. So the only reference that you have to Black people is what you see on television. And when you look at television, what did they say? The Black family is fragmented. Black men are violent. Black women are promiscuous. The Black divorce rate is so high. Black children are untrainable. This is what you, if you look at all of the movies, imagery, when you look at listen to the music, when you look at the television shows, it's imagery. But when we look at them, oh my goodness, you always see whole families. When you look at them, they are not threatening. We don't ever feel like they would be a threat to us.
Not on TV, but if you go pull some of the actual figures now.
I know that. That's my point.
Them killing out their whole family.
That's my point. But imagery is still what is so powerful, but we know, but they'll never put that out there. There is a study that was done, there was this white guy and this Black guy, and they just did a little study, and both of them had guns, big old guns, and they were in Michigan somewhere, so it was open carry, you can carry the gun. The white guy was walking down the street, and the cop pulled up to him, hey, buddy, what's going on? What you doing? He says, walking. Well, why you got that gun? Because I can. Is there a reason? Nope. Let me see your ID. I'm not showing you ID. I'm legal. I have a legal right to carry this gun. And the statute is such and such, such. I don't have to. But, it's kind of a dangerous gun to walk around with. It's still legal, is it not? Yeah, have a great day. The next day, the brother with the same gun walks down the same street. The police officer didn't walk up to him and go, "Hey, buddy." He stopped 30 feet away from him with the car, sirens blasted, on the microphone, pulls his gun, "Get on the ground now, now, get on the ground, get up." Like, wait a minute, dude. Why are the threat? Why was the black dude the threat? But yet, just the day before, the white guy with the same gun, same age, same build, imagery. Because they always say we got gangs in our community, we got gangs in our community, and we don't have that.
Well, I was looking at history, Black history in America, and they said that Black people could not carry guns. Black people, one of those Black codes, Black people were not supposed to get guns. And they asked them why. What was the problem? They said because they're going to kill us. They're going to kill us because we mistreated them as slaves and all that. And if you give them those guns, they're going to kill us. Lincoln, they had problems getting them to go ahead and approve for the Black cavalry to come in because the white folk were afraid Black folk were going to kill them. And so even now, they act like they're afraid of Black people with guns because they knew if they were in our place, they would kill us.
That's right.
See, but we are different. We have a moral compass that they don't seem to have. That's what it is about the guns. They don't know.
I don't want to know explosive.
Well,
but you know, everybody should have their own right to own a gun. I don't think that you should have the right to assault weapons, military style weapons, high capacity magazines, silencers, bump stocks, and all those other things. That guy who shot that boy, he shot that dude from 200 yards away. Talk about that real quick. I don't want to.
Yes,
I don't want to, but let me just say this: my conspiracy theory antenna go up. Now this boy, y'all, they saw him walking, he had a backpack, and walking with a limp, right? So he had the gun down his pants. They what you say. Now here's my question. He jumps off the roof.
Yeah. No.
You saw the video?
Yeah.
Where was the gun? Did you see a gun?
No.
I didn't see a gun either. I didn't see a gun. Okay, so let's just say, but he had this backpack against you. Democrats. Just you gotta, unless this is an elected official saying something bad, stop thinking every time somebody says something against you that they gotta be.
But wait a minute.
Democrats.
Wait a minute. It goes back to his technique.
There you go.
And that's probably, if you keep repeating it.
That's it.
So, every time it was a crime or something, who did they say? The Black man did it. And so now they said the Democrats did it.
Right.
Same technique, same thing. And if you say it long enough, somebody's going to believe you. And it catches on.
And they're controlling everything that we do. The little girl at Texas Tech in college was simply, she was like, "Hey, your homie dead." And you arrested her? And you kicked her out of school? But I can show you all the videos of all the Texas Tech, Texas A&M students that were mocking the death of George Floyd. Matter of fact, I can show you the video of Charlie Kirk calling George Floyd a scumbag. I can show you a video of Charlie Kirk saying that Martin Luther King was a dirtbag. I can show you where he said Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, where he said that she only got there because she was a DEI hire. Don't worry about her Harvard degrees. How he talks about Kamala Harris slept her way to being the vice president. How she talked about all of these people, and yet This is what this thing is all about. This is about demonizing or diminishing our value.
Imagery, you have to keep that picture.
But they're diminishing our value by saying we only get certain jobs because
3/5 of the hill.
Because we black.
Yeah.
That's not what DEI is. He said that if he ever got on a plane and saw a black pilot, he'd be like, that pilot is qualified.
Yeah, that's right. But Trump is a DEI.
All of Trump's cabinet is a DEI.
DEI because felons aren't supposed to be able to vote.
That's right.
Because he hasn't served any time. So he's not supposed to even be able to vote. And he's elected president.
Felons and rapists.
And right. And most of the DEIs are white women anyway.
Mm-hmm. The DEI is not what people think it is. DEI is a marketing tool that just simply says, hey, you can come over here and apply. Or hey, you can come over here and it doesn't mean we're gonna hire you, it just means you can apply.
You have opportunity.
That's all it is.
Equal opportunity to apply for.
Closed caption is the I in DEI. It's inclusion. Closed caption, that's for the hearing impaired. Braille.
Yeah.
Wheelchair ramps. Governor Abbott. Wheelchair ramps. I wrote a bill when he said no DEI in college universities no more. I wrote a bill to get rid of all wheelchair ramps at universities. I did. Because the idea was like, dude, if you want to get into that building, get in there on your own merit. Since you want to keep talking about you got to get in on your own. Get in that building on your own merit. I don't understand how you don't see your own. You don't even see it. Yeah. And I also wrote a bill that said all students need to qualify to be students to get into these universities. And I had all the Republicans signing my bill. It was like, Jarvis, that's a great bill. I'm gonna sign it. And then I filed it. And then as soon as I filed it, the phone started ringing and all of them said, take me out. Take me out. I said, why? I said every student should be able to get into these universities on their own. They have to academically qualify. You know why they want their name off of that? Because all the athletes would not have qualified to go to those schools.
Those black athletes,
white, black, Asian, don't matter.
But those big black ones are the ones bringing the money.
Hey, look, whoever, all of them, none of them would. That means all them students would have had to go to universities where they can qualify. That means Texas Southern, you can qualify.
Yeah.
Prairie View, Houston Tillerson, Wiley College. You know, wouldn't it have been great? And then all that money that people want to pay to see these kids play would come to our university.
Right. All right now.
Sometimes you got to be smart in how you beat them. You ain't got to always yell at them. You ain't got to always scream at them. Sometimes you use their own energy against them.
Well, I think that the black community through acquiescence was able to change something they had planned when they said they were going to resegregate us and we didn't object.
You mad at it now?
And they wanted us to act up and have a silver wall and all of that.
I ain't mad at it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
go.
They said, give us our infrastructure, give us the money, give us our cities, we want our schools, our hospitals.
Don't come over here to come to our restaurants. Y'all eat that bland food.
They were so shocked when we didn't object strenuously. They wanted us to act up, and they were so shocked when they found out, oh, we don't mind. We don't mind. We're sick of you anyway. But anyway, this has been wonderful. I'm telling you, Ms. Brewer, we're so appreciative of being able to have this discussion. And like I said, we need to have more of it. And to have a state representative to come in and give us firsthand information about what's going on in our state legislature and other things, it's really been rewarding to me and enlightening. So we're so appreciative to have you with us.
And I look forward to more collaboration coming to Fifth Ward, and we're gonna set some stuff up in the library. But this is,
Yes, yes, we already have an opportunity and an offering.
Black Heritage
so-
Society has always been important to me, and
All
and
right.
Brother Duncan Tell has always been, a man that I admired, looked up to, and was uncompromised, and stuck to his morals, and I appreciate that.
And so why don't we just go on and look at these election dates now and these ID codes with the suppression?
Yeah,
So let's look at them so everybody know what these dates are
okay.
and the voting and
We wanna-
Chiva Charlotte McGlaw is going to talk to us about that.
Yes, I'll be sharing important dates with you. November general and special election. On October 6th, last day to register to vote. October 20th, first day of early voting. October 24th, last day to apply for mail ballot. October 31st, last day of early voting. And November 4th, election day, last
Election
day to
day.
return mail ballots. Go cast your votes.
Yes. And so what about these, okay, let's say that we go in to vote. We're going in to vote. What about these IDs and things now?
Identification requirements for voting. Under Texas law, voters who possess one of the 7 acceptable forms of photo ID must present that ID at the polls when voting in person. Voters who do not possess and cannot reasonably obtain one of the 7 approved forms of photo ID may fill out a reasonable impediment declaration, read, at the polls and present an alternative form of ID. The alternative forms of ID consist of a utility bill, bank statement, government check, or a voter registration certificate. Please notice that student IDs are not acceptable forms of identification for voters, but a permit to carry is accepted. Instead, you must provide one of the 7 approved forms of photo ID when voting in person. Acceptable photo IDs in Texas. 1, a Texas driver's license. 2, Texas election identification certificate, EIC. 3, Texas handgun license. 4, U.S. military ID card. 5, U.S. citizenship certificate with a photo. 6, U.S. passport, book, or card. Voting without an accepted photo ID cannot reasonably obtain one. You still must vote by following these steps. You must follow these steps, presenting a supporting form of identification. This can include a voter registration certificate, a bank statement, a utility bill, or a certified U.S. birth certificate. Next, fill out and sign a reasonable impediment declaration at the polling place, explaining your reason for not having a photo ID. Now remember, on election day, cast your votes and have one of the acceptable IDs. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So, when you go in there, you have to have one of those several the acceptable ones. Now, what I found interesting, and you can detect the voter suppression scheme immediately. Here they are. You can detect it immediately if a college student with their ID on there, student ID on there, and all name and everything on there, but they can't accept that. They can't accept that as an acceptable form of ID.
Yes.
Now just look at that right there.
Right, but they'll accept a Texas handgun license. That's a problem. That's definitely one.
So they don't want those students to be able to vote.
No, they don't.
And you,
It's just
Yeah.
another barrier.
Mhm. So, would you read those, seven acceptable ones
Yes, I will.
again?
Accepted photo IDs in Texas. You might want to jot these down. Texas driver's license. Texas election identification certificate. Texas personal identification card. Texas handgun license. Texas handgun license. Texas handgun license acceptable, but not a student's photo ID. U.S. military ID card. U.S. citizenship certificate with a photo, and a U.S. passport, book or card.
That's it. Thank you. Well, we've had a good time on National Voter Registration Day.
Yeah.
My goodness, we have learned so much about voting. Thank you, Ms. Brewer and the board of Black
Yeah.
Heritage Society and Sci Fair chapter
Chapter,
yes.
NWOA.
Yes.
What's NWO?
National
Women
Women
of
of
Achievement.
Achievement
Oh, okay,
Incorporated.
okay.
Okay, so we've had a wonderful time. Let's give our state representative another hand.
All ahead.
All right. Thank you.
And we want to thank all the Zoom participants for joining in today as well. We appreciate all the support. Please
That's our
share.
chapter.
Yeah. So please share the link. We do have some videos that have been posted on our social media platforms, so please share those links. We will be uploading some videos to our YouTube channel. Please click on them and subscribe, like our videos. Of course, that makes it very popular. And share the information about the significance of voting. You all have done a wonderful job, and we really want everyone to receive this important information about voting. Thank you.
And thanks to our technicians.
Technicians.
Yeah, give it up for the young folks in the house.
And Tanea Johnson, Will Lewis and Tanea Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Spread the word.
Let's spread the
Spread the word
word.
to your churches, community work.
And Bobby
meetings,
Johnson.
Bobby Johnson, our volunteer, are getting people signed up to vote,
Yes.
as well as Keisha Williams, and even the security guard. She had to step in and help. So it's been a wonderful day. So
Yes,
thanks
ma'am.
to all.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.